Hello, I would like to share a little bit about my life. I am about to turn 59 years old, and I recently found out that one of my children is a non-parent. It turns out that my wife cheated on me with her big brother. Sounds horrible, but it's true. My lover's wife told me about it. It all started in 1983, if my memory serves me correctly. I met her at the railway station. She was waiting for someone. It was rainy that day. I remember this picture well. White polka dot dress, long black hair, almost to her knees. After a while, a train approached, and at that moment, I saw that she was desperately looking for someone. But alas, that person was not there. I became very curious as to who she was waiting for. Curiosity took over, and I decided to wait for the end of the story, as I was in no hurry to go anywhere yet. After the train left, another 10 minutes had passed, and I decided to approach her. It was still raining, and it was dangerous to stay outside in such weather. I approached her and saw the outline of her face, the color of her eyes. They were dark blue, like the sea, the white skin of her face and her red lips. In the same instant, I marveled at how nature had gifted her with beauty. But even with such a beautiful gift from nature itself, she was miserable. I said hello to her and suggested that she go to the orphanage and wait for the train there. So we waited for the next train. For a few hours, our conversation was ordinary. I never got up the courage to ask her who she was waiting for. I had to stay in a hotel and go there. I had to take a taxi. I didn't know any other transport to get there. The train never came, and the girl started to worry. I couldn't leave her at a time like this. When it got dark, I started to despair. There were no taxis at that time. There was nowhere to go, and I started running around the city looking for a place to sleep. I remember I fancied a bench dry, and the length suited me. A pillow would be my suitcase and a blanket, a change of clothes, but the idea was never realized. The girl, seeing the look on my face, understood everything and invited me to spend the night. This night was unusual for me. I had mixed feelings, shyness, awkwardness, and, strangely enough, admiration for her beauty and gratitude for human understanding. The very thought of having to spend the night at the railway station on a rainy and cold day frightened me. I left the first morning, but returned a few days later to thank her and her family for their hospitality. So, day by day, I started visiting her and fell in love. A year later, I got married, moved to her town, bought a house. We had a son, then 2 daughters and 3 sons. I did not even think about cheating. I treated her very carefully, did not refuse her anything, and she is my household. Always clean at home, cooked food on the table. My children have grown up. I cannot tell them about their mother's deed. My heart does not allow me. That day, when I learnt about the affair, I asked her, and she told me the whole truth. All her life, she had loved only one man. It was he who was supposed to come on that train, but he never came. It turns out that he got married there. When she found out about the wedding, she married me out of desperation, but then the children were born, and she decided to live for them. After 3 years, my wife's lover got divorced and returned to his town. I remember how she introduced him to me. Meet my older brother. I didn't ask who this older brother was or where he came from, because a few months ago we had buried her father, the last person she knew. So we started living as neighbors. He moved in next door, got married a few months later. I didn't know that all this time they were not brother and sister, but lovers. But now I understand why she was always going to visit him or sleep over. Why she didn't say anything to me, why she treated me like that. I'm not a stranger to her. I wouldn't interfere in their happiness. Why? Fear? No. Guilt? No. Then what was holding her back? She didn't answer. I never found out, and I didn't want to know. I didn't need to know. Anyway, the event in my life won't change. I wanted to divorce, but my soul does not allow. I feel sorry for my children. I do not want to burden them. They have their own families, children. I do not want them to know the truth about their mother and her love with another man. And I feel sorry for my son. Even having learnt the truth, I am not going to give up on him. He was and will be my family. What do I do? I'm ashamed to tell anyone. When I heard about your website, I decided to tell you. I guess that's it. Thank you for being here. Telling you about my trouble made me feel much better.